Hello there, Ray here, and we are here on the ProtoTech server. And more specifically, we are at the Quadrature Perimeter storage system. This is kind of like the central hub of the entire server. We got all the storage of all the different items, as well as a whole bunch of different mini farms here. And recently, we've been doing a bunch of upgrading to this area, and I would like to show you guys the different stuff that we have upgraded. Plus, I would like to add our own addition to help automate the process of some annoying things. Now, our storage system here at the Quadrature Perimeter was designed way back in 1.8, and we had to kind of do some customizations since then. And since shulker boxes were added, we really didn't have a nice method to put in loot that was already inside of shulker boxes, which normally you would just put in your random items into these chests and they get sorted out. Respawn went ahead and he put in a box up here where you can put your shulker boxes inside of there. And I'll take the items out and then put the empty shulker boxes over there. And let's go ahead and take a look at it. Back here, there's some mechanics going on. Here's the shulker box unloader. You can see that it takes items in, pulls the loot out, and takes it down with the other items. And then the shulker boxes get sorted off to the side. And there wasn't a lot of room in here since there is quite a few other contraptions from the past, like the automatic brewing system and a bunch of storage over there. And he also put in, as well as other guys helped, this lazy processing chunk detector. This makes it so that it will only drop items into the storage system when there's players loading these chunks. Otherwise, it'll just lock the system. That way, this thing's not spewing out items, and then there's like thousands of items here when you come back through the portal. Because when you go through the portals, this chunk can sometimes stay loaded. You can also see the items are putting into a cobweb. That way, they clump up into larger stacks rather than tons of entities going around the entire system. The auto furnace array also got redone. This was done by Tim. He went through and pretty much redid the whole thing so that it has more safety checks, so we can make sure that it shuts off properly when it doesn't have enough fuel. But it sits nice slim right behind the rest of the storage, and there's a bunch of mechanics back here to check for fuel as well as items. There's even some on and off switches. Like this is if you want to have your nether brick smelted up, then you can turn this one on. This is some for purpur. There's also ones for stone if you want to smelt up that, as well as sand into sandstone. And then these two are fuel. These are where the sticks would go. And you can see if there's items in there waiting to get smelted. There's also a manual one, so if in case you have some items that you want to smelt up right away, you can go ahead and put them in this one, and then they'll get smelted up without having to put them through the system. All these are automatically taken up from the top, so that way you don't have to go to the chest. They just automatically get smelted up. After they get smelted up, all the items get dropped off into this water stream here, and then they get taken up and sorted with everything else. It also has some on and off switches here. Now the biggest thing that actually would break this machine is just lightning would come down and it would destroy the minecart that was down here. Either one of these hopper minecarts would get destroyed by lightning. But now there's a lot of stuff above this, so it's blocking lightning from hitting these guys. And in the item elevator over here, you can see we got a new fellow. Somebody found a zombie that spawned around the edge somewhere, and he put it inside of here, so it goes with our Grum charge creeper that's down here. It's always cool to come in and check up on these guys when you're coming through the storage system. It looks like there's a horse up here. Oh, I think this is Kika's horse. A lot of times Kika AFKs here at the Quadrature Perimeter. It looks like he got himself a nice skeleton horse. It's not one from the older versions because it only has 7 hearts, so it's one of the newer ones. We're sitting on top of this comparator, which is a glitched out comparator. Also got the sand here, which is buttons are holding it up. Sometimes when Kika AFKs there, people play pranks on him. The guys redid the AFK auto fishing. As you can see, this area looks a little bit different. I think there was about 3 different fishing huts in here before, kind of in different angles. And now we have 6 different AFK fishing huts, so we can have a lot of people AFKing. Akron put this in here, and this is his design. And it's kind of a cool design. We got some there's trip hooks back here against this edge. You notice how the tripwire is moving back and forth in this direction, and we also got the note blocks in the back with some trap doors. And we are still in 1.12, so you got some signs here. It's a 1Y fishing rod, and we can still use the F11 trick where you can hold down a key, switch to F11, and then it will keep that key held down. And then he also gives some instructions about how to align the bobber. The way it works is a little bit different than most AFK fishing. So let's go ahead and hop in there. So he got some snow layers here. I think this is 3 layers. And you have to crouch to get inside of here. And he also has some trap doors to separate the players, which is kind of cool. And then you can see in front we have a note block. We got the tripwire. We also got a trap door. And because we're still in 1.12, we can't just have like a waterlogged block here. We actually have some water sources. And the way that his works, let's go ahead and turn on the hitboxes. When you throw the rod, you want to make sure it bumps up against this trap door like it does here. But then you want to also make sure that your player is aiming at the note block behind it. So what happens is you can see the colliding of the bobber hitting the side of that trapdoor. When the trapdoor does open up, it allows the player to click on the note block behind it. And of course there is a tripwire which allows it to open and close the trapdoor because there is a trip hook right beside that trapdoor. So it's a really small and simple design and works great for 1.12. And over on the side you can see the scoreboards for all the people that have been using fishing rods. And Ilt was my AFK account. He actually has a lot of fishing rod uses. I think I AFK'd here for about a month. And Rays is my main account. I got a lot as well. You can see my other two accounts are way down here, and I did some AFK fishing with them as well. There are some other scoreboards, which is kind of cool. There's this scoreboard here that shows how much fish were caught. You can see Lavender caught the most fish, and he actually beat Wyvert, who did all his AFK fishing prior to mending. So he did all this with actual fishing rods that were constantly breaking, so he had to get new ones. And he was in the leaderboard for a long time. I think he AFK'd for like a whole month. And you can see my 3 accounts are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th place. And this is the other cool scoreboard. So since we went ahead and put in these note block AFK fishing ones, we now are, every time we are clicking on this note block in the background. So that is increasing the number of note blocks tuned. And you can see how my scoreboard is going up. And I was actually in the 1st place for a long time. But holy moly, you can see that 0x's alt account, Lavender there, holy moly. He has over 3 million note block tunes, so he's been here quite a while, and that's probably why he's in the #1 spot for fish caught. If you've seen the video that I talked about AFK fishing, it appears in 1.14 that this statistic altogether is removed. So if you look here in the statistics, you can see note blocks played, and when we looked at 1.14, this was the only one that was there, and this one was completely removed. I don't know why they would remove it, and you can see I got close to 1 million. I don't feel like they should remove statistics. They should just keep adding more to it. And I do know they added some more, like a 1.13, like to keep track of spawners that you break. So if you're going to break any spawners, wait until your server upgrades until 1.13. One of the biggest changes done here at the Quad Witch Premier is the witch huts themselves. You can see these designs are completely different than what we had before. This design was made by the ProtoTech members, Yun, KK, an example. It's a really nice design that works on not only a detection system to detect if there's witches inside of it, but also a clock. So it will only activate if there's witches inside of it, and after a certain amount of time. This really minimizes amount of lag as well as makes it extremely efficient. And it also has on and off switches with these lamps here, which connect back up to the on and off switches that we have in the very center there, so we can operate everything from the center of our storage system over there. I really like this design, and it's actually not too difficult to build up. You can see there's not ton of different types of redstone going on here. If you'd like to know more about this, I will put the link to the video about this down in the description. And then all the items just come down here, and then they're dropped into the water stream, which takes them all the way back up and over there again. And they did this for all 4 of the witch huts, which was quite a project. And not all these witch huts face the same direction. So I think that one of the guys actually built it wrong direction, so they had to convert the whole thing to the other side. But you can also notice that when they put in a huge roof on top of each of these witch huts, this just extends the area where the witches will try to spawn. If it's dark over here, then it will try to move them inwards and they can spawn inside of there. So that also increases the amount of drops we get from the witch hut. And then down over here, we have our automatic cobble farm using wither. It's a really cool design that I came up with that uses a bedrock wither cage that's in the overworld. And now this design is pretty popular among technical Minecraft players, so it's really cool to see that design really picking up popularity. And I added in a cobble gen back here, and Smokey built this up here quite a while ago, but recently 0x came in here and added this addition, which is a AFK system to convert concrete powder into concrete. So I'll show you guys how this worked. There's some concrete over here. Looks like people were converting over. Let's grab some black. That's a pretty popular one. So what you do is just put your concrete powder inside of here. I'm actually going to put some more because it goes through it pretty quickly. We've got some white. Put that all in there. And it just funnels it all the way down to here. And on this side of the cobble gen, he has it so that the concrete can get converted over into concrete blocks. So the player just sits down here. There's even some signs. Stand here to convert to concrete, make sure the cobble farm is off. And what happens when you stand here, it's going to start dropping you concrete from this dropper over here, and then you have access to place it down over here. And then once you fill the whole area in, it's just going to push the concrete into where the wither is. And it's really simple, and it's an automatic way to convert the concrete really fast. You don't have to have the player actually break any of the concrete after it's been converted, because that's what the wither is doing. He's breaking the concrete, And withers have 100% chance of making sure that all the items are dropped as their block form, so you don't lose any. Then after the wither breaks them, he's going to do the exact same thing as he does with the cobblestone. All of them are going to get pushed over by this water stream and pushed down to the side and end up down over here. And then we have a hopper minecart, which is picking them up off of the very lowest layer of the bedrock and put them into this item stream, which is putting them up here. And all those items are taken all the way up and put into the storage system. Or you also have an option to turn these hoppers on over here, these hopper minecarts, and then they'll take the items directly out and put them over here in case you don't want to go all the way over there to take your items out. This is a really nice way to convert the concrete powders over into concrete. A lot of people wonder if wither cages are pretty safe. Like this wither cage has probably been here for about 3 years and people use this place all the time. So long as you maintain the wither cage properly, then you don't really have to worry about the wither escaping. You notice how we give this wither a target, which is way down here in this little endermite. And we call this wither free work because he's been helping us get cobblestone for the longest time. And all the cobblestone that he breaks down goes all the way up into that system over there and automatically smelts it up, turns into smooth stone so the players can use it. So this guy has been doing a lot of great work for us. Now over here, there used to be a large cactus farm. As we're moving these type of farms over into the end dimension at the exit gateway portals, we're going to slowly remove them from here in the Quad Witch Primers. Like we tore down this cactus farm because we have one built up in the end dimension. And like over there we have the mushroom farm, so we could probably tear that down since we have one over in the end dimension as well. And pretty soon, by the time we tear down all the different farms that we got over here, they'll all be relocated in a different spot. And then we'll just be left with the Quad Witch perimeters. And that has always kind of been the goal with this area here, to put down as many startup farms as possible. That way we can easily get resources from one location. But as we make individual farms, we can go ahead and not worry about having them here. With all these improvements going into the Quad Witch perimeter, I want to do another improvement here as well. As you guys know, I don't really like to do manual crafting, so like I built this auto crafter here which helps me auto craft. So I want to do something similar to this. So here at Quad Witch perimeter storage system, this is where I built in that custom shulker box loader. You can customize whatever types of items you want the shulker box to be loaded up with. And this is the redstone side, so it has all the redstone components. Now one thing we noticed is that over here, this lantern was hardly ever getting filled. And this is the dispensers. Since dispensers are quite hard to craft up, this is pretty difficult to fill this one all the time. So Kika and I went ahead and designed up a kind of a helping device that'll help us craft dispensers more easily. And we figured out we can put it in right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to grab different components to make dispensers. We're going to put in a couple item sorters like they are right here, put them in right there. We're going to grab the components need to make a bow. So we're going to grab string as well as sticks out of the storage system. Then we're going to have it so the players can craft up bows up there. Then we're going to have a bunch of storage for the bows. And then what we need is, once you have the bows, we need to have some cobble as well as redstone to craft them up. So over here we have redstone as well as cobble already. So we really don't need to filter those out. So we're going to grab those items with some hoppers from underneath and take them over here. So the player will have the bows over here in this area. And then over here we'll have the cobble and redstone, and we'll be able to grab those, and then we'll also be able to have the bows nearby. And then we made a little machine that will kind of help us be able to craft them more easily after that. So let's go ahead and build it up, and then I'll kind of explain the whole thing. So Kika I finished it up. It fits in here very nicely. This is between some mass storage for some redstone components as well as a mini auto crafter that we got on this side. But right in between, we also had room to pick up the items from the ice stream up above and collect them as well. Kika went ahead and he started AFKing at the spider farm to grab more string to put into the system. So if string gets put into the input, oh there he is over there, then the string will be taken around and be pulled out over here, which is great. So this is the ice stream right here, pretty much where all the items will come through, and we just added in 2 more item sorters there that will pick up the sticks as well as the string. And yeah, so pretty much what's going to happen is the player first is going to go up to the top, and then he is going to have access to both the string as well as the sticks. So let me go ahead and let me clear my inventory. Okay, so I cleared my inventory, and up here we got the sticks as well as the string. So let me just grab some string as well as some sticks. And then what we do is just craft up bows here, and you can shift click your whole inventory, fold them, and then you could triple click them into here. And this is going to go into the bow storage. Let's grab some more bows. That should be good enough to test it. So they're going to slowly fill up all the storage. There's quite a bit of storage for bows as they go in single stacks. So eventually they're going to make it all the way down to this dropper down here. So the bows are now in the dropper, and then over here we have the redstone as well as cobble. So these come from the mini auto crafter that's over here, and we're just snagging them with some hoppers underneath. So we're grabbing some cobble from here, we're also grabbing some redstone from this one, and we're taking underneath to these two chests here and here. So what the player will do, you can just grab some cobble. It's going to take quite a bit of cobble. It's not going to take so much redstone. We'll grab a couple stacks of redstone, fill the rest up with cobble. So the bows are going to come out of this dropper here, and I put in a couple trapdoors just to prevent them from flying too far away from the player or falling into this hopper here. And then what the player will do is just grab his supplies, and then he's able to craft up from this crafting table here. What I like to do is just shift click droppers, so I got a whole stack of droppers being ready to made. And then what I like to do is move the bow into the one slot by using the 1 key on my keyboard. And then I can press 1 again, and I'll put it directly into this crafting. And then all I do, I have to press Q, and this will drop the dispenser. And then as soon as the dispenser drops, what it's going to do is we got some redstone underneath that just detects it going through this hopper, and it's going to power this dropper again, so it's going to give you another bow. So this way you don't have to leave the crafting grid to get more bows, as bows take up a lot of room. So just imagine if my whole inventory is full of bows, it wouldn't be able to carry very many of the other items. So now I can carry a lot of cobble as well as redstone, so I don't leave the crafting grid that much. And it helps to keep the rest of your inventory kind of full, just in case the game kind of forgets that there is the item removed here, and sometimes I'll try to put it into a different slot. So you just drop and then hit 1, drop, 1, drop, 1, drop, 1. Now if you're crafting pretty fast, you'll be able to keep up with the system. You'll actually be able to go a little bit faster. So it's possible to keep a bow over here in this little cubby hole that we made. So what we can do is we can drop a different item, and that's going to give us a second bow. So now we're working with 2 bows all the time. So always be a bow waiting for us. So we can go ahead and drop this one. And you see a bow's over here waiting. And as soon as we press 1, the other bow is going to replace it. That way we can craft a little bit faster, and that way we can be a little more efficient with our time. So just like that, we actually used up all the bows that we had in our storage over here. So yeah, it's a pretty easy system. It didn't take us too much to design this, and it's really useful for crafting up dispensers. And what happens when you drop them, they just go in here, and then they end up in this chest here. If you wanted to, you could just take this and put it directly into the storage system. As you're not going to craft up that many dispensers, we just put them in here and you can easily grab them. So now we have a nice little crafting system to help us be able to craft up dispensers more easily. And then we'll be able to fill up the redstone shulker boxes with these guys. It's always nice to add some more automation into this area since there is so much cool stuff going on in here. And also saves a bunch of time from having to craft up dispensers and also filling up our redstone boxes. And don't forget guys, every Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we do a live stream. Wednesday streams, we're checking out the new snapshot with all the viewers, which is really cool. And sometimes also on Friday, we also check out the snapshot. And usually on Friday and Saturday, I'm streaming here right on the ProtoTech server. And I'd love if you guys would come by and join in the streams. But I think that's going to be it for today, guys. Thank you guys for joining as I have fun in survival. Bye-bye.